Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. All right. You can have it. You can have it. Hmm. Where are we testing this microphone? All right, mic test. Okay, that did not sound so good. Let me see. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, KJ, we are back. We are back. Ah, okay. So I have two windows here. My goodness. Huh. Okay. All right. So we'll give it maybe 3 minutes. We can start at 8:05. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that icon. I had forgotten to unmute myself. Let me confirm. Um, I have to confirm if I'm audible here. So let me do this. All right. Am I audible enough? All right, so let's see. Trying to, okay. All right, so I have generated a simple website here using Cloud. This is GitHub Copilot, the AI tool I'm using. And this is the prompt I used. So I said, create a simple e-learning website with Next.js. That was supposed to be next. I accidentally typed next. But no matter. The website should have a simple navbar and a simple courses showcase. When clicked, they show more info about the courses. These are the courses we want to display: self-taught computer science, graphic design, blah blah blah, up to management in IT. Sam, welcome. The instructor is Moses Mbadi, and he can be found using the following platforms, and I shared those. This is the instructor info. I shared the information here, and I even gave it a photo here. So this is the prompt I used, and this is what Cloud was able to do. So if you go to localhost 3000, so this is what the AI agent was able to do. It created a simple website like so. So we can see we have 9+ courses, comprehensive curriculum, expert instructor, self-paced, and then you have an option to explore courses. So you can see more. So for example, you can view here. You can see the details. That is the instructor. You can click here, see the details. Go to the instructor profile, and you can see everything here. So you can click here to find me, and so on and so forth. So now our project is running locally, but we want the world to access our project. We don't want the user to type localhost blah blah because it will not work. So step number 1 is to create a server, VPS. So to some people call it a virtual private server. You can just call it a server. So we want to create a server, and then we want to host our application on the server, so that the user does not have to type localhost that. So the user will just type 8hours.xyz like so, and then they can access the website. So the first thing we need to do is we need to buy the domain. That is the first step. So I'll come to, but first, okay, let me just proceed and buy the domain first. So I'm buying the domain through an account I manage. Let me see, I want to buy through an account I manage. That account, takes a little bit. All right, so inside here I'm going to go, I'm using Truehost. You can use whatever domain provider you want. There is SasaHost, there is Safaricom, there is GoDaddy, there is Namecheap, or should I just buy through Namecheap? Let me try Namecheap, because I use Namecheap to host Soma stories. So let me go to Namecheap, and then I'll compare the prices so that I can see which one is cheaper. So here I can just go to domains, my domains, or I can go to register domain. For some reason I'm having issues with the internet. I can also log into Namecheap and see which one is cheaper. So you can buy your domain from pretty much any company you want to buy from. And as you can see, your profile or your account where you're buying your domains from should be protected, because you can't log into mine unless you have the code from my phone. So now here I have one domain. So I'll just go to domains, and then I'll search the domain 8hours.xyz. So I can use .com, I can use .co.ke, but those are a little bit expensive. I think .xyz is normally 100 bob or 200 shillings. So .xyz is 200 shillings or about 300 shillings, and then you renew it at around 2000 Kenya shillings. So this is $2. Let's find out how much it will cost if we buy it here. 8 hours .xyz. That is the wrong domain. That is the wrong domain. .co.ke is 1000, but we want to buy .xyz. .xyz. So let's type again. All right, so .xyz is 370. Here it's $2. So let's find out how much that is. So I'll open my calculator. For those who are joining us, we are just trying to buy a domain first. So we'll say 2 times the current dollar rate is 130 if I'm not wrong. So this is cheaper. Let me just confirm. Dollar rate 129. So this is cheaper. So we will buy our domain through Namecheap. So I'll go to add to cart. I don't want anything else, so I'll just keep everything as it is. I'll go to my cart. Where is it? Where's my cart? Why is it 2.20? I thought it is $2. What else is inside that cart? So view cart. .com, .net, okay, we are not affected. So domain privacy, domain registration, domain privacy is free. This is $2. That's okay. So we can just skim through. All right, everything looks good. We can go ahead and confirm the order. I want to use my okay, I'll just use this card. I don't even know which card that is. Oh my goodness. Billing address, use default, domain registration, free domain privacy for 8 hours, automatically renew all my. No, we don't want to renew. This is for testing. All right, everything looks good. We'll continue. Then we can go. Let me confirm which card is that. I don't even know which card that is. I need to confirm which card that is. So let me see. It's not this one. Which card is that? My goodness. All right. Yeah, I hope that card is active. I can't remember. I think it's M-Pesa Global. So let's see if that will process. Yeah, I don't think that is an active card, so it will probably not go through. Status of your order is automatically updated every few seconds. Navigating away from this page will not cancel your order. Nothing is happening. Refresh the page manually. So let's go ahead and refresh. Order is processing. So now that we are in the process of buying a domain, we also want to buy a server. And I think I need to break the steps down here. Look at me exposing my keys. So step 1 is buy the domain 8 hours.xyz from Namecheap. So the assumption here is that you've already built your project and you have your project running locally. So we can say prerequisites, your project is already running. All right. So if we have confirmed that our project is running locally, now we are buying the domain. Oh my goodness, why is this taking ages? It's that it's to cart and proceed checkout. Invalid request. Oh, I was not reading that. Okay, so let me go to cart again. Yeah, so I think I'll change my card because that card is not working. So I'll say confirm order, default card. So I'm going to open a new window and add my card details. I'm not going to show you guys my card details. That verified, that's the card number. Let me see. I hope I'm not recording this screen because Okay. A valid postal code. All right, so I have added another card. Let me go ahead and pay now. We'll give it a second. 0 out of 2 items has been completed. All right, thank you for your purchase. So we have the domain, and you guys now see why you know I ask for donations to keep this course going, because you see now I've spent my own money buying this domain. So if somebody watching is kind enough to chip in, you can chip in and pay for this. So we have the domain. Let's see domain registration. So we can go to manage, and then under manage we have 8 XYZ. So the most important part here is this interface called DNS. And in any domain provider, for example, if you're using Truehost, there's a place they give you to manage your DNS. Your DNS is where now you connect your domain to the server, to the IP address of your server. So right now we only have this. We do not have the server, so we are going to skip all these and now create our server. So we can just use AWS. We can try this on AWS. So I'll just log into my AWS. Sign into the console. Sign in with root. That one. Password, that one. Yes, very important, very important. I'm hoping you guys have tried creating an account on AWS as you did in the previous class. All right, so step number 2 is buy or rent a server. So step number 2 is set up a VPS, which is a server in short. So it's called a virtual private server. So the one you're going to use is what we call Lightsail. AWS has quite a few. They have EC2 instance, they have whatever, but in our case, you are going to use a Lightsail instance. So right at the top, I'm going to say create instance, and I'm going to say it's a Linux, and I want the operating system only. So there's quite a few you can choose. You can say Nginx. We will install Nginx, but for now, let's just go with operating system only, and we'll select Ubuntu. Everything else we can keep it constant, general purpose, dual stack. We can go with this one right here. It's free for the first 3 months, or if you want something more powerful, you can go with this one. But I don't think I'm eligible for free. I've already exhausted my whatever. So we can name it. We can say 8 hours server 1, and then we can say create instance. So step number 2 is complete. We have configured our server. Okay, we have set it up. We have not configured it. So it will take a minute to start it up or to boot it up, and then we can connect to it. So step number 3 is we need to host our code on GitHub. Step number 3 is host code to GitHub, so that now we can have a way to pull the changes on our server. So I'll go back to my project, and one thing I want to do, so let me just click accept. So one thing I want to do, I want to confirm gitignore is set up and working okay, so that we don't push files we do not want to version control. So I will open my new terminal, and then I'll go to my account. So let me just use let me see, do I have Soma Stories account here? No. So I'll go to my GitHub, and then inside my GitHub I'm going to create a new repository. I'm going to say this is 8hours.xyz. Am I moving too fast? Are we together? Who's lost? Do send a comment if you're lost and mention where you're lost so that we can move together. All right, I had to look at some notifications I was having. So there's no question, so I'm assuming we are at par. So let's go ahead and create the repo. I'm going to call it XYZ, and then I'm going to say 8 hours, 8 hours learning management system, and then I'll say create repo. So once that is done, we need to push our code to that repo. So I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to go to the repo. In the README, I'll paste it down here so that I can use it as a reference. So step number 1 is git init, initialize an empty git repository. I'll say git add because I want to add everything. And then I just want to confirm that everything is added. So everything looks okay. So I'll say git commit. And then I'll write a commit here. So this is the first commit. And then I'll hit enter. So once that is done, we are going to run this command so that we have the main branch. And then we will run this command right here. So we'll run that. Oh my goodness, what have I done? That is the wrong command. So this is what I need. That is what I need. I'll paste it there. And then I push my code to the repo like so. So if you're watching this video later on and you're lost, just pause, go back, take some notes, watch it again, and you'll figure it out. But try to follow the steps. There will be a written version of this video. I'll upload it to my Soma Stories blog for you guys to go through later. So let me see. Nice. Somebody has paid for the domain that we've just bought. Thank you, Simon. So let's go ahead and okay. So our 8 hours XYZ is deployed. Now we have it on GitHub. So let's confirm our steps are correct. Host the code to GitHub. Now step number 4 is clone the code on the server. All right, so we'll go to our server. We'll go back to AWS. Okay. This is taking longer than expected. Connect. All right, let's refresh. Oh, it's running, so it just needed to refresh. So we'll SSH into our server, and what SSH into our server means, you literally log into the server so that you can manage it. Now remember from our previous class, I don't know if I still have the diagrams here. Oh yeah, this is actually, I was trying to make a tutorial of how I created an AI video from using AI tools, and there's quite a few. Whatever. I'm making the second episode of this video, so just be on the lookout on my Facebook page. You'll see the video there, and I'll also explain how I was able to do it. All right, so let's have a look at what we learned the other day. We said that you can have a server in North Virginia, and you can host your website on that server. Now that server is in North Virginia. Physically, it's in North Virginia. Like literally what I've done here, I have bought a physical server on an AWS data center. The data center is in where? Data center is in Mumbai. Okay, it's in India. So for me to be able to control that server and install things on that server, I need to log into that server. How you log into that server? We are going to use this connect using SSH. So you can connect to it using your terminal, but that's a lot of setup, which we will not do for now. So let's go ahead and connect. So connect using SSH, and this is what we have. So now we are inside our server. We are managing our server. So there are quite a few commands we can do. This is a Linux environment. By the way, if you're still using Windows now, you see, this is a reason for you to shift to Linux. Anyway, so we can do something like print working directory so that we see which is our working directory. We can do something like who am I? We can do something like apropos what? Apropos ls. So what apropos does, it just gives you a documentation of whatever tool you want to use. So if I have this tool, for example, print working directory, which shows me my current working directory, if I do apropos, I do print working directory, it tells me what print working directory is. So as you can see, get shadow password file, print name of current working directory, this one right here. All right, so we need to clone our code into now the server. As you can see, if I do ls, there's really nothing in this folder. Home Ubuntu, there's nothing. So let me clone my code here. So I'm going to go back to the repo, and I'll click this, and I'll click here. I will click this thing right here. All right, and I'll go back to my server, and I'll say git clone. Oh, okay, that's not how you paste on Linux. So I'll say paste like so. No, it will not be hard for people working on Windows, because as you can see, I'm working on Windows, but I know a few Linux commands. So it's very important you learn some of these Linux commands. So once I clone, I can do ls. And as you can see, our project now has been cloned on the server. So I'll do something like cd 8 hours. And then now I'm inside our project. So our code is running locally, but we need to make it run on this server. So we'll first follow the steps as I've shown here. So number one is you have to do git. Okay, I've forgotten where I had those commands, but it's a front-end application. So what is the first thing you need to do is npm install sudo apt install npm. So this is, we are seeing this error because we do not have node installed on this server. So we want to install node here. So you'll go back to the browser and search install node on Ubuntu 24. Install node on Ubuntu 24. So you're going to let me see. Using node source recommended for production, default repository, update node version. So we'll copy this one. I will go back to our server and paste it like so. I will give it a second to install node. You can share any questions if you have in the chats. I'll have a look. Yeah, node is quite big. So let's again refer to our notes. Now we are on this stage. Set up a VPS server. So I think the part we skipped here is setting up a VPS server means install node.js. And then there's something else we will look at, like opening the port. So this is supposed to be step. So step 4, clone the code on the server. That is what we want to do. No, actually we've already done this. So we're supposed to go to step 5. Step 5, which is run the application. So to do that, we have npm install and npm run dev. So we are here currently. We want to make this work. So we'll still give it a second. All right, so node is installed. Let's go ahead and install our dependency. So we'll do npm install again. See if it works right now. All right, yeah, and that works. So it again, that will take a second because there's unsupported engine. What do you mean? Current node. Oh, that's a very old version of node. Okay, so we need to update our node whatever, because version 18 is quite old. So let me do node version. Yeah, this is quite old, so let me just go ahead and undo that. Sudo apt, is it uninstall? I am not even sure whether uninstall works. Uninstall supposed to be install. I have forgotten how to remove remove purge or remove works. Okay, so let's go ahead and follow this other method, nvm. So we'll go ahead and copy this. Let me just do that. So again, when you're deploying websites, you need to be very careful, because I could have just gone with Node version 18, but that would be a nightmare to work with. So I need to work with the latest version of Node, because locally I'm running an upgraded version of Node. So let me see. Close and reopen your terminal to start using nvm, or run the following to use it now. So I want to use it right now. So I'll just copy all of this. Not sure if, okay, let me see. So okay, so it's so I think it's up to that. So let me just run that. I have no, okay, nvm version. Okay, so nvm is there. So we need to now install node.js. So let me see, nvm install, to install the latest long-term support. So I'll just copy this. So right now we uninstalled our node version. There's no node. So let's go ahead and nvm install LTS. LTS means latest lifetime support or something, something similar. So now that is done, we can do node version, and then you can see now we have the latest node version. So initially we had version 18 point whatever, but that would have been a nightmare to work with. So let's go ahead and install npm, install packages with npm install found vite. Okay, all right, so I need to remove something here. So I need to remove node modules, ref node modules. All right, then I need to run the npm install again. My goodness. All right, so that is done. We'll run the project now. npm run dev. Yeah, so let's participate. It's good to help other developers. So our project now is running on the server, as you can see, localhost 3000, but we cannot access it outside the server. It's because if you come to your server right here and you get the public IP address, which is this one, and you paste it here, as you can see, nothing happens. It says there's what? I think this is Nginx or something, but nothing happens. It's because if you go under networking, your server only has 2 ports open. Let me just turn this off. Your server only has 2 ports open. You also need to open port 3000. So here I'll say add role. I'll say TCP. I'll say 3000. And then I'll say any IP address, and then I'll say create. So once that is done, we can try again. So instead of just that, we can say 3000. 3000, nothing is working. Why? 3000. 3000. That is the public IP address. Oh yeah, so now this is why software engineering is it's a bit stressful, because if you don't know what's happening, you'll be stuck, because your server is configured, the project is running okay inside the server, you have opened port 3000, but you still cannot access your server. Let me make a guess. It's because our project is, we call it like, it's tied to localhost. We need to have it, tied to any listening, whatever. I have forgotten the word to use, but that's what we need to use here. So I can just copy this. I can to expose. So I can copy this up to that, and then I'll go to Cloud Code. And again, part of this course is teaching you how to work with AI with AI tools to speed up your work. So I'll say, can I access this Next app using the server's public IP? And then I'll paste that. So we'll kill this, Control C to kill it first. And this is what you need to use. You see this 0.0.0. So let's go ahead and copy this, paste it here, like so. And then we have this. So let's go ahead and try again. Voila. And now our project is running on our server. So you can go ahead and try this. I'll paste it in the charts. You can go ahead and copy that entire thing in your browser and see if you can access this from where you are. All right, so I'm hoping you've given that a try. So now our project is running. However, users will not use the IP address of 3000. If you want, so if you want a user to type, instead of typing the IP address, we want them to type this 8hours.xyz in the browser. For example, let me show you another example here. If I want to go to Soma Stories, I can go to somastories.app. I don't type the IP address. However, I can also access Soma Stories using the IP address. So let me just do a quick check. So this is the server hosting Soma Stories. Where is it? Soma Stories, whatever. Let me see the networking. and I have I have not opened port 3000, so I will not be able to access it. We'll look at what that means in a second. So we want the user to type 8hours.xyz. What do we need to do? Number one, we need to capture the public IP address of our server, this one right here. We say copy, and then we go to our domain registrar right here, and then we say under advanced settings, Victor, yeah, we are getting there. Not opening. KJ, I don't think you've typed the right thing. You're supposed to type the IP address :3000 as it is, exactly as I've shared. So under DNS or any domain registrar you're using, you'll go to advanced DNS or DNS settings, and then you want to add a record. So we'll come to action. Not that. Where is it? This one. Add a new record. And then we'll say it's an A record, and then the host is at, and then right here we are going to say that the public IP address of the server, and then we are going to set this to 5 minutes. We will save like so. So to confirm, of course right now it's not gonna work because it's still, we call it propagating. We call it propagating. So 8hours.xyz. Continue to site. Nothing is happening because when you type these by default, it hits port 80. Right now, if you want to access the website, you're using port 3000 right here. But for you to be able to use, a domain, you need to hit port 80. So let's go ahead and open port 80. Oh, port 80 is already open, so it's just the web server that is not installed. Anyway, let's go back to our steps. Run the app, npm install, npm run dev. So the app is running. Step number 6, update DNS records to point to server IP. And then step 7. Step 7 is now configure a web server. All right. And what this means is this: when you are deploying any application, like I've shown you right here. So let me just do another drawing here at the top. So let's get rid of all this and that. We'll also get rid of this. So this is the visual representation of what we've done so far. So inside the server, our project is running on 0.0:3000. This is where our application is running, and we can access it outside the server. So we've called it S1, and it's in Mumbai, not North Virginia. So our server is in Mumbai. All right, and we want to access the 8 hours website from our laptops. So whenever you access your service or your website, so let me just delete this so that you can have something simpler like so. So whenever a user tries to access your website, they rarely access your website directly like we've done. So when you go to the browser and you type that IP address and the port, you're accessing the application directly. But in the real world, this is rarely the case. We normally use what we call a web server. A web server is more robust. It handles your request, your user request, and it does more than just handling user requests. Why can't I draw a web server? Something like this. This is not the official icon for a web server, by the way. So now, in our case, our web server is going to be what we call Nginx. Nginx, okay? So we want to install Nginx on the server, and then our request, instead of hitting our application, they will hit Nginx, which is just a software, and then the Nginx will route our traffic to the application running here. It's just better when I show you. So let's open our notes. So in VS Code, I had written a few notes on how to do that. Where are the notes? My goodness, deployment, is it here? Let me see. Nope, it's not there. Let me look for the documentation. Downloads. So let me see. Why is it not opening? My goodness. It's right here. So this is the deployment notes. We are just going to follow through. So let me open the preview mode. I'm going to close these and that. I'll remain with this. Let me close that. Let me close that and that. Let me open the preview mode like so. All right, so we have installed the project on the server, and now we want to install Nginx. So let me just go to this, configure our web server. In our case, you're going to configure Nginx. So no, we don't need that. Install configure Nginx. So we're going to do this. Nginx will act as a reverse proxy. It receives requests from the internet on port 80 or 443 and forwards them to your Next.js running on port 3000. So that's basically what a web server does. So let's go ahead and install it. So I'll copy this. I'll go to my server. First, I'll kill my project. So you'll not be able to access it now if you try. So let's install an Nginx like so. I need to run that with sudo. So I'll say sudo Nginx does its thing. Okay, so we'll assume Nginx is installed. Check if Nginx is running. So we'll copy this and confirm if Nginx is running. We'll paste it like so. And if you see this active running, it means Nginx is running. All right. So let's try and access port 80 now and see what happens. So instead of saying port 3000, I'll say here port 80. Have I typed 80? Port 80. I thought I typed port 80. My goodness, 80. All right. Yeah, now Nginx is running. So at the moment, this now is running and it's being hit at port 80. So we'll do this. We say this is at port 80. Now we don't want to open port 3000 because if you open ports that you don't directly control, so to speak, you expose your application to cyber attacks and whatnot. So we will close down this port. We don't want it open. So we'll go to our server. We'll go to our server and say we want to delete this port 3000. We don't want it. We only want port 80 open and port 22 for SSH, but don't worry about that. So now Nginx is configured. Let's go ahead and point it to our project. So we'll go to it's not running. We can start it. You can configure the firewall if you want, but we're not going to do that right now. So we'll just go ahead and update this setting so that our server can point to 8hours.xyz. So I'll copy all this and then I'll paste it on the server. So let me clear. I'll paste it here. Again, if you're watching and you feel lost, just pause, rewind, then watch it again. Is not writable. Sites available is not writable. Why? Directory. So let me first exit and see why we cannot write into that. So I will do sudo. I think I need to do sudo. Okay, yeah, perfect. So we'll go ahead and copy all the contents here. So all this content, we'll copy it. I will go to our server and paste it here. All right, so after pasting it, we can just scroll up and confirm everything is working okay. and the server is hanging. All right, so let me see. Everything looks okay. So you'll say Control X and Y to exit out of this editor. Again, if you started with us from scratch, you know what Nano is and what it does. So once that is done, let's go back to our whatever, listen on port 80 or blah, enable the site. So we'll copy this, we'll go to our server, we paste it like so. I keep forgetting, I need to run this with sudo. So I'll say sudo that is done. We go back and then we can test Nginx to see if the configuration is okay. So we'll go to this and paste. Test failed. There is something wrong with our configuration file. The user directive makes sense only if the master process runs with super user privilege. Syntax is okay. Permission denied. I do not know why. Oh, I need to do sudo nginx -t. All right, so if you see this, it means your configuration is okay. You can proceed. So we'll go back to, where were we? We'll go back to our documentation. You should see this. Everything is working okay. So we can reload Nginx. So let's go ahead and reload it. Okay, I need to do that with sudo. I'll paste this. So that looks okay. And then now we can go ahead and check if our service is running. So we'll go to the browser. We'll go to the browser and type that. It is not working. What is it we've not done? So let's start digging. Instead of www, so let me just try 8hours.xyz. That is not working. Let me try http. That is not working. Let me try this. Nginx is working. So our configuration either has not taken effect or it has not been picked. So let's see why. So we can go into the configuration. So I'll say ls etc nginx. This is the best part about deploying software, because you have to do this kind of troubleshooting and find out why your application is not being deployed. So we did configure the nginx.conf, so let's just find out if our configuration worked okay. But before that, I want to find out if the nginx was indeed restarted. So instead of reload here, I'll say restart. All right, so let me go ahead and see what are we serving here. Are you sure we're still serving Nginx? Let me try with a different I'll continue. Welcome to Nginx. My goodness. So yeah, so let's see what is inside nginx.conf. So we can do cat and then that's etc nginx nginx.conf. all right, so we're just trying to find the absolute path for this file. So it's right here, but as you see, we were listing contents of etc nginx, so we can do that and we look at the contents. So yeah, the contents here, this is the default nginx file. Let's see. Ooh. Yeah, I think this is the default nginx file. So let's go ahead and copy all my goodness, why am I all right, let's ask whatever cloud code. So I'll open Cloud Code. I'll say so let me see, did I skip a step? Host on HTTP. Start Nginx, enable Nginx. So we can ask Cloud Code if this instruction is wrong. So we can say I have followed the instructions in but visiting 8hours.xyz says what? So let's go ahead and check what it says. Says that where was I? Right here. Hitting the public IP shows default Nginx site. So let's go ahead and see what happens. I'm pretty sure the issue is it's because we've not configured the default Nginx configuration file. Because if you do that, Nginx has no idea whether your websites exist. So let's go ahead and see. Okay. So if you're doing simple tasks, you can get away with GitHub Copilot. It has a free version, but it's highly limited. You will not be able to do quite a lot with it. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, what is not happening here? SSH into your server and run diagnostics commands. I think I have to edit my prompt. I have to edit the whatever I gave it. So let me just copy all this. For some reason I cannot edit. So let me say this. If I run npm run dev and hit the public IP port 3000, I can access my next app. All right, so we've edited. Okay, so let's see. This confirms the issue clearly. Your app runs fine. Nginx just isn't proxying the domain to SSH. So to do that, let's see. Check what Nginx currently has configured. So we can copy all this. Create the Nginx config for your domain. Sites available. Okay, what do you mean? This is already there. So let me see. Let me just confirm if it's there. So I'll clear. I will do that. And then we want to see the contents. Yeah, it's there and it's okay. So what do you mean? Check what Nginx currently has configured. Cut whatever if it doesn't exist. So let's go ahead and try that. Yeah, everything looks okay on my end. Sites enabled. Okay, so ls etc nginx, and then we want to check inside the sites enabled. Yeah, we have 8 hours and we can see 8 hours. We want to check cut with cut. All right, so the data is there. So let's go ahead, create the Nginx config for your domain. You are not helping. You are not helping. So let's see. We can copy this. Where is it? So we can copy all these. I can't copy. Okay. Let me see. So we can copy all these. Come on. And then we give it. We say this is what we have, but it's incomplete. So we want to copy up to this point. All right. I know Cloud Code and I will arrive at the same conclusion, but let's see how far we can go. All right. Nginx will act as a reverse proxy. What that means is, instead of communicating with your application directly, we want to communicate with Nginx. Then Nginx will route whatever request we have to our application. So the importance of using something like Nginx, it's because Nginx has features that can help you. For example, it has what you call, it can be a reverse proxy. What that means is, if you're getting 1 million requests, Nginx can see, say for example, you have multiple servers of your application. So you have that server, this is S1, this is S2. So I can just write that here, S1.A, and this is S1.B. So if you're getting 1 million requests per minute, Nginx can check which server is free or which server can handle your traffic. Nginx can also do other things like security. It can prevent other, some type of request and whatnot, and other features that we might want to use. So let's go ahead and see. Remove the default site. It's conflicting. So yeah, I had a feeling the default site is. So I'll just copy this. I will paste it here, and then after pasting, I need to use sudo. So I'll do sudo remove, and then I'll do sudo reload. So I'll do sudo my goodness, sudo nginx t and sudo system. All right, so let's go ahead again and check. So if we go to the browser and refresh, nothing is happening there. Bad request cannot be found. So this is a different error in programming or in tech. If you see a different error, you celebrate. That is a step. So what's happening here is that Nginx is failing to know where to route our request. So we can go ahead and start our application now. npm run dev. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try to refresh this. Nothing. Okay, that's weird. That is weird. So let's copy this and open incognito and see what happens. And continue. Is not allowed to host this host. It was to server allowed host invite config. Oh yeah, I need to configure my project. All right, so our website is running, yes, but it has some issues. You can go ahead and check it out, 8hours.xyz. But now we need to configure this thing. So this is now how the cycle goes. You have changes you need to make. Those changes, you make them locally on your computer, and then you push the code to production. So we are going to go ahead and copy all this. And being as lazy as I am, I'm just going to ask Copilot to fix this for me. So I'll paste it here and I'll hit enter. All right, so which file has been changed? This one right here, and we've added these domains. So let's go ahead and push our code. So we'll say git add, say git commit, add allowed host, and then we do git push. So our code has been pushed to GitHub. How do we deploy the code in the production server? So we'll go to the server, we'll kill the running instance, do ls to make sure we are in the right folder, and then we're going to do git pull. So git pull, as you can see, one file changed, 6 insertions. So let's go ahead and run our code again, npm run dev, and then you'll go to the browser and refresh. Yay, hooray, now our project is running. So you can go ahead and test it out. Let me just share the link. You can go ahead and click the link and you'll be able to access the website. So you can look at the courses, view course, you know, all that, like so. However, our project is running on what we call HTTP. If you see the link I've shared, that is HTTP, and that is rarely the case with mobile app, with websites. So if you go to somastories.app, you'll see that we are using HTTPS. So I'm trying to, you see this HTTPS, and if you try and type HTTP, you hit enter, it will redirect you to HTTPS. We want you to use the secure version of our code. So if you click here again, you see we got redirected to HTTPS instead of HTTP. So you do this by adding what you call SSL certificates, and in our case we are going to use a free SSL certificate, so that instead of users going to HTTP, we want the users to go to HTTPS. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I'm multitasking here, so so let me see. All right, so let's configure let's encrypt. So we'll go back to our documentation, and we want to look at so now that we've made all these changes, let me see, we made the changes with cloud code. So we can tell it, we can ask it to update the document. So here I will say deleting the default nginx config file fixed the issue. Update the docs in here. So while it's updating, we have to now configure let's encrypt. So let's see. So we will HTTPS, no, not that one. So enable HTTPS for let's encrypt. So we'll go ahead and install this on the server. So we'll kill this for now. Let's go ahead and install that. I need to use sudo. So I'll say sudo and install all that. Oh my goodness, what have I done? Yes, allow. So let's go ahead and see this. All right, so once that is done, we can go ahead and obtain a certificate. So let's copy this command and paste it here. Permission denied. Oh my goodness. Sudo. Enter email address used for urgent renewal and security notices. So we can say info@8hours dot xyz xyz info at 8hours.xyz. Can hit enter. You must agree in order to proceed. Agree. Then requesting certificate for this. Challenges: the certificate authority failed to verify the temporary engineering configuration. Blah, blah, blah. So what happened here? Satbot failed to authenticate some domains. So okay, in the past, whenever a next domain lookup for 8 hours check DNS records exist. Yeah, so I need to run the project in the background. So let me go ahead and Google how to do that. I have forgotten how to do that. So let me see. Let me go to ChatGPT and ask so how can I run in detached or background mode? So let's see if there's an option to do that. Runs in the background, saves logs to a file. To stop it later, do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and try this. All right, so I'm assuming it's running. Let's go ahead and run Satbot again. Oh my goodness, what do you want? So let's see. Domain lookup for www 8hours xyz. Check that DNS records exist. So it could be that we need to add. So we added a record for 8hours.xyz. We need to add one for this thing right here. But to confirm that, we can just copy all of these and ask ChatGPT how to fix this. But first, let me confirm if the project is indeed running. So I'll go to that. I'll refresh. Yeah, so the app is running. So we just need to point it to the correct whatever. So let's go ahead and see. www, your server IP address. Yeah, just as I had thought. So we'll come to our domain controller. We'll copy this IP address, the server IP address, and then we say add a new record. An A record, we're going to say it's a www. We'll paste the public IP. Oh my goodness, what have I done? I was trying to copy this, paste it here. We'll set it to 1 minute. We'll hit save. So why is this still open? It was saved a long time ago. All right, so let's go ahead and try again. Okay, yeah, this will be part of a premium course because it's quite a headache to DNS problem makes looking up for 8 hours. Check that DNS records exist. So fail to verify temporary engineers configuration use made by Satboard. Okay, I see where the issue is. So instead of that, I can just do sudo satbot and then sat only to generate certificates. Let me see how that works. It serves the and then I can pass it. Let me see. One actually is just the other command that you are typing. So we'll say one. Let's see if that works. I think that worked. So after we've renewed our certificate, let's go ahead and see what next. Verify your Nginx config after certbot. So we'll copy all of these up to this point. Test and reload Nginx. So we'll go back to our server. Now we need to edit the Nginx configuration file for our server. So to do that, we need to find the configuration file. So we can do ls etc etc, and then we see what is inside. We need Nginx. Yes, we need sites available, and then we need that 8 hours thing you see there, 8 hours. So let's see, this is a file if I'm not wrong, so we need to edit it. So we can do sudo nano, and instead of everything that is in here, we are going to delete everything. I would have just deleted this file and created a new one. So let me see if I have any questions. No questions, good. So let me just delete this. Yeah. Maybe I just needed a break. Okay, so that is all gone. So we can paste the new content in here. Let's see, everything looks okay. So I'm doing Control X, and then I'm doing Y, and then I'm doing enter. So this is nano. Again, we talked about this in our previous class. So let me clear my terminal. Let me see, I'm typing the wrong thing. Let me clear my terminal. And so I can come here and verify that our changes are okay. So I'll go to the website. I'll paste this. I keep forgetting that I need to sudo. I need to do that. And then I need to check if our configuration is okay. So again, I'll do sudo. All right, so everything looks okay. Let's confirm if we can access our website using HTTPS. So we'll copy these, we go to a new tab, and instead of HTTP, we'll say HTTPS. And yeah, of course, nothing will happen. It's because HTTPS by default will use port 443. And here we've only opened port 822 and port 80. So we also need to open for port 443. So I'll come here, I'll say port 443. I'll say any IP address I'll create. And then I'll go ahead and try to access the website again. And as you can see, we are accessing our website using HTTPS. So our website now is okay, it's not really secure, but they say it's encrypted. So you can go ahead, play around this, watch the video again, see how we were able to achieve this. It's very important to use HTTPS in your websites because, number one, for compliance purposes, GDPR or something, and also it adds, a small layer of security to your application. I think that's it. So we've gone from running our code locally right here, npm run dev, to deploying it on a domain, 8hours.xyz. This is the manual way, of course. If you're deploying using cPanel, for example, the process is a little bit simpler, especially if you're deploying something like WordPress, and you look at that as you continue. But for now, we can just keep this one. Yeah, so I'll delete this after maybe, let's say, a few hours, so that somebody does not go around poking on my server. So I'll delete this in about an hour. You can go ahead and play around and see what we did. I think that's it for this one. Are there any questions? Yes, I'll share the source. This one is already on GitHub, so you can just go to GitHub and type 8 hours XYZ. I'll write this, I'll write a detailed guide on Soma Stories blog. Gachigi Muridhi. Oh, the steps. Oh, yeah, you mean these steps right here. So configure your web server, which is Nginx. And then that's it. That's pretty much it. So this will also be in the written guide on Soma Stories blog. I think that's it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. How do I end this? Let me see. How do I end this thing? I need to end it here.